Players set to leave is officially being announced. James McArthur, Luca Milivojevic will both be leaving the club, but is that it? Who else are we expecting to leave the club? And also a reaction to their Palace careers as well. 3 Palace players selected in the latest England squad, plus transfer updates. Let's get started with Palace news. I don't know why it ended early, but there's a lot to talk about, I guess. So, yeah. But look, we're all glad all over. We're all glad all over. What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. I'm joined by Dee here to discuss all the latest with Palace. We'll also be giving you live updates from the end of the season award show, which is going on as we speak right now. So we'll see some of the awards that's picked up there. As always, if you're watching on replay and if you're watching it live, make sure to hit the like button, people. Let's get up as many likes as possible, and also let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. T, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Another day, another dollar.
Yeah, literally. How are you feeling towards the end of the season? Like, we're building up to the final game of the season. It's been a long season. Are you relaxed? Are you just praying that this week is done and dusted?
Man, I mean, I've always had mixed emotions at the end of a season because it's like, it's like it comes to an end, and for one reason or another, part of you kind of ready for it to be over with. But then I think about how I'm going to feel next weekend when it's like, oh, I don't have a match to watch.
There's not a match to watch, but there should be a lot of Palace things to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm sure you can definitely talk about this from personal experience. There's nothing like match day and going and being there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that little bit of withdrawal, knowing that even with all the ups and downs and everything that happened with the season, come next weekend, you won't be there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit of it. But
yeah, before we actually speak about the players, there was an update before we went live from the award show. Can you give us what was said about Anderson? I think it was brilliant.
So apparently they bought up Kevin Day from 5-year plan. He's like the first, like the guest performer, and he said, "I hear the ref from our game against Fulham is here tonight. I'll just pick up the microphone and see how far I can move before he notices." And then he came and then they played a video, and he was like, all that video needed was a few more uppercuts. Seriously, Joe, how did you get away with that?
He's actually got away with a few this season. He's got that. Funny enough, he didn't even get that red card. That was Nunes. He got a red card. No, that wasn't really his fault. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, look, as I said at the start of the show, we'll be giving you guys the latest updates. Let's see who wins some of these awards, and also let us know in the chat what you guys think. Who's your player of the season? I know there's been a massive discussion about it from like the last month or two, and now it's finally here. So let's see if you guys got it right or wrong. But yeah, Ash says, surely this means more players are coming in. Window opens in a week's time. And exactly, I know we haven't started the show officially yet, but unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you view things, there's a lot of stuff with Palace that's still going to happen. I mean, the season ending is a door opening for literally another whole world. The transfers, there's the managers, there's that wealth. We're going to have an end of season award show ourselves and talk about the season because, there's a lot that happened with Vieira, with Hodgson, with Eze. So trust me, the content ain't going to stop. and yeah, look, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But let's start off with the rumors Let's start off with an official update that came out today. 2 players that's been officially announced to leave the club at the end of the current contracts. James McArthur and Luca Milivojevic both will be leaving, so it seems like the Forest will be the final game for both of them. But before we look at the wider perspective of things, let's start off with Maka. 9 years at the club. I think Roy actually spoke about it on Palace TV, and he said that, people say McArthur is underrated, and I don't believe that. But I think from the neutral perspective, I think James McArthur is underrated. I have to disagree with Roy there. Maybe as Palace fans, we know that he's rated, but I don't really hear many neutrals talk about James McArthur being a threat. But he was a threat for many years. I loved his work ethic. I loved his, he came up in big moments, how long he was at the club for. He never really moaned. He put his head down, his energy. And he was a very underrated midfielder because you could play in midfield 2, midfield 3. For you, how would you sum up James McArthur's time at Palace? And are you, in a way, disappointed that he's leaving? Because where I stand with it is all good things have to come to an end. and age was clearly catching up to him. Mm-hmm. And if you're thinking about financially, it's probably the best move that we have to make. But saying that, we're losing a very important person in the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough loss. Sounds like he's not retiring. It sounds like he's going to continue to play professional football. So interested to see what that holds. I wonder if that was a part of it. You know what I mean? The fact that he still wants to play, but maybe he realizes that it's just not at this level, possibly. So really sad to lose him. I don't know about the whole underrated comment more than anything else. Maybe underappreciated by some.
But I think he was underrated. So you think he was rated enough in general by fans?
I feel like Palace fans rated him. I feel like he's.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a neutral perspective. I don't think neutrals rated McArthur as much as we rated him and much as we know what to do. Because I think for the neutrals, it's just like any other midfielder. I
don't think they did either. No.
Yeah. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. He's a very decent player. It's not just a player that stayed 9 years.
As a neutral, as an outsider, as a neutral, you don't see all of what he brings to the club. You know what I'm saying? And all the things that he does for it, along with his ability on the pitch. You know what I mean? I think a big part of it is the fact that he's not stuffing the stat sheet with goal contributions and things like that. So, which tends to be a huge statistic when it comes to rating midfielders and things. So, he does a lot of the things that the dirty work and the things you need to do. And he's a grinder. And like you said, he can play in different schemes and setups and things. So, definitely underrated by the outside, the neutrals and things like that.
Also, if he was younger, and let's say Vieira joined us before, I think right now we're talking about James McArthur being one of the key players to Vieira's potential success. I think Vieira's biggest standpoint, there's that midfield debate, there's other stuff as well, but I think he's suited a manager like Vieira in terms of his energy, in terms of pressing, and we saw it at the start of Vieira's time at Palace when he was playing before he picked up the injuries. He was still brilliant, like for that age, but there was also that question mark: can he do it throughout the season? And I had that, I don't think he could. And it turned out, he picked up an injury, and he hasn't really played ever since then. But what's your best James McArthur moment? We didn't speak about it beforehand. It's going to be hard to pick out right now, but there was that goal against Watford. I can't think off the top of my head because I literally asked it because it just came to my head right now.
Because I just saw the highlight of the one was it Watford? Was that the one where Wilf took on like 3 guys and squared it into the box and
I think it sounds like Watford.
It's either that one or when he took off Bukayo Saka's leg.
I mean, Arsenal fans are probably still crying about that now. I'll be honest, they're probably still crying about that now. But he always put in a shift. That's
always
for Macca, and wish him all the best. Literally wish him all the best. He's would you say he's a Palace legend? It's a legend gets used a lot. 9 years at the club isn't a short span of time as well. Let us know what you guys think as well in the chat. Is Macca a Palace legend? Is he a cult hero? Where would you rank him in terms of where he stands within the club? Because he played a very big role ever since we got promoted. I remember when he first joined.
I think cult hero is probably the more proper.
It feels like it. It feels like it.
Because like if he would have been a part of the team that got promoted for us and stayed with us since then, definitely Palace legend. But being that he joined us, or won the cup, but being that he joined us after the promotion, so he's only been with us during our time in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Which at the same time, let's not understate the fact that his 9 years were a part of keeping us in.
Yeah, he played a role as well.
But I would say cult. I would go with cult hero would be the proper term for me.
Yeah, Jamal says the same as well. He's saying he's going with cult hero. Yeah, I think so as well. Maybe as you said, if there was a bit more.
If there are more accolades, put in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. But he's not the only player that's leaving. There's another player that's officially been confirmed today that is set to leave, and it's not really a surprise to us. Both of these players, I think we can both agree on that. Luca Milivojevic is going to leave the club upon the expiration of his contract. He joined in 2017. Do you know how many appearances he made for the club off the top of your head? Maybe you've seen the article. Maybe that's
Luca. Yeah, I want to say Luca was close to 100. It was probably about 100 something appearances.
I'm reading it. Whilst you're saying, I'm reading it over and over again.
Almost maybe almost 200.
Yeah, 198 appearances for the club across 7 Premier League seasons. Luca was with us for 7 seasons. It's mental.
And
like, where does time fly by?
Like, if you think about it, like starting last year was the first time that he wasn't the main guy starting at CDM for us. Like, this is the first year like he wasn't in that mix.
And also another quiz. We're warming up with quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
He scored 28 goals. Which ranks him 3rd in Palace's all-time Premier League standings.
Yep.
Behind only who? Can you name the 2 players that he was behind? Who scored more goals than Luca Milivojevic in the Premier League?
In the Premier League?
Yes.
Zaha, of course.
Yes, Wilf. And who else? You might be surprised with this. He got a lot of hate.
Jordan.
Nope.
It's not Jordan Ayew?
You got too excited. Nope, it's not Jordan Ayew. You're going to be very surprised with this.
Benteke?
Yes, Benteke. So he's behind Benteke and
Zaha. That was my 4 I was thinking about. But...
Yeah, Benteke's first season. Not in the Premier League. Not in the
Premier League,
but yeah.
The Premier League, no.
Yeah. Townsend or Benteke. Yeah, Benteke. So yeah, only Benteke and Zaha. Benteke could be a surprise for, but
yeah, but Benteke. But you think about it, if you think about it, what we just said for Luca's 28, right? Benteke had 17 in one season, so that's what really gave him that jump on being up there to having a 17 in one season. So, update on the first award of the night. So the first award was for goal of the season. We had 12 nominees. Mark Bright came up and gave a shout out to all 3 of the lone players, Scott Banks, Jez Roxaki, and Killian Phillips. He said, congrats to Roy, Ray, and Patty, and the players for securing Premier League status. Has been great since Roy came in, picked it up, scoring goals, and really enjoyed the end of the season. And the winner for goal of the season, what a goal and what a moment, was Michael Olise versus Man United.
Michael Olise wins it. Man United. Congrats to Michael for winning it. What's your reaction to that? God, it's interesting. It was a big goal at the time.
Yep. It says the number 7-inch perfect strike from 30 yards out with his side trailing the Red Devils by a goal to nil entering stoppage time could neither have been better placed nor better timed. Olise's effort sailed past David De Gea and off the underside of the bar to secure a well-deserved point and send Selhurst Park into rapture. The goal was later named Premier League Goal of the Month and given the club's equivalent prize for January. We know Michael is a huge fan of interviews, so we will hear his reaction in just a minute. He's making his way to the stage.
I was always going to say it. I think that's the highlight. Forget about the goal. I think that's the highlight. I wonder what he going to say.
They present him the award, hand him the mic, and he says, "Thank you. I appreciate it."
Thank you. He's like, he's done a job. He's done the job. No way. Did he actually say that? Did he actually say
he said that. That was it.
I thought you were joking. You can't get more Michael than that.
I appreciate it.
I love Max, man. I love it, bro. That's funny. Thank you. I appreciate it. And he just sits back down, ready for next season, score goals next season. You can't make up. But look, that was a fantastic goal. It was a fantastic goal. It was a very important goal as well. But yeah, we'll talk about awards as the time goes by. As always, if you're enjoying this, people, make sure to hit the like button. It takes a second of your time and helps us out massively. We'll keep giving you updates throughout the
next
show.
Award up is the under 18s player of the season, so that'll be coming in a second.
Interesting. So quickly, let's go back on Luca. We mentioned about his goals and done quizzes, but Luca leaving the club, that's not really a major shock. But he's going to be. It's one that had to be done. It's one that had to be done. Legs were catching up to him. He was a solid option coming off the bench, but when we're talking about Wilf and his new contract and how to fund it, and Luca and reported how much is on, I think it makes sense.
And it's possibly the same with Macca too. They're probably in that $70,000-$60,000, £1,000 a week range. So, I mean, if those two are still trying to play first team football, really be in the mix somewhere else, it doesn't make sense to keep them here and keep them on that payroll when by letting them go, we can probably by letting those two go, we're at least freeing up 100,000 per week with those two leaving, at least.
Nah, 300,000. Nah, it's not 300,000.
No, I said at least 100,000.
Oh, at least 100. Yeah, I thought you said 300,000. I mean, if he was paying 300,000 with all due respect to on average 250,000,
I would imagine we probably freed up probably at least probably around 120,000. I would imagine because Luca's on 70. Now,
Tim has a question saying, who do you think is the captain next season? Do you think this is it with Mark Gahey? That's if he stays. Is he the captain next season? Who picks up the armband?
Yep, I think Mark's the club captain next season if he picks up the armband. Also depends on if we keep Joe Ward. If we keep Joe Ward, then I think maybe Joe Ward deputizes, and maybe Joe Ward gets the So I mean, a lot of things hang in the balance. But I mean, if Mark Gahey stays, I think that he deserves that right. If Wolf stays, he's in the conversation too.
Potentially, because I think Roy gave him captaincy for a few games.
For a couple games that he actually played for.
Yeah, that he actually played for, exactly. Yep. Funny enough, all this time, we haven't even had Wilf properly, and we still managed to sell comfortably, which shows a credit to some of these players that have stepped up. And, talking about some of these players that stepped up, let's move on to the second bit of news today. The England squad was announced, and three Palace players were selected. Eze is in England squad, Mark Gahey, which is not surprising, and Sam Johnston. I'll be honest, the Sam Johnston one was probably the biggest shock for me. I wasn't expecting that. But in a way, Eze being called up as well, it could have went both ways. I said as well, maybe he needs to play a bit more like this. Maybe he goes on to next season and he will eventually get selected. But Ebbs, he got selected for the England squad. Southgate said that he spoke to, Roy and people in the under-21 setup and how Eze is as a player, and he liked what he heard and he wants him a bit closer to, monitor how he is.
Yep.
And he's been selected. So what do you make of these three Palace players get selected? And I love it. The fact that Jason Steele from Brighton, who deservedly said is one of the best European goalkeepers, didn't get selected, and Sam Johnston did after playing 5 or so, not 5 games, but ever since Roy's basically come in, is absolutely fantastic. It makes it even more sweeter. But saying that, Lewis Dunk is there, so people need to watch out.
I mean, I think part of it is what I was actually surprised to see that Sam Johnston got the opportunity, but then I thought about it, and the regular third who they usually pick, Nick Pope, is hurt, so they had to figure out a decision there with Nick Pope being out, and I think maybe it comes down to a familiar name that the manager might trust in Sam Johnston compared to the is it Steele? That's Brighton?
Steele, from Brighton, yeah.
He might not know him. He might not, you know what I'm saying? That might not, obviously we obviously know that with Gareth Southgate, he picks guys that he is comfortable and familiar with, and that's regardless of how much they're playing. That's regardless of how much they're playing for his club, because he's got Calvin Phillips on this team, and Calvin Phillips has made literally one appearance in the Premier League.
And that was the other day. That was literally the other day. Yeah,
exactly. They picked up. They put out Conor Gallagher again, and Conor Gallagher's not playing every day for Chelsea like that. So,
and there's a few players that missed out as well. That's why I'm surprised that some of these players got selected from Palace side of things. I mean, Dan Burn for Newcastle. You can make the argument that he should have probably been selected ahead of Harry Maguire. So there's players that should have been potentially elected and they didn't. Even Morgan Gibbs-White, which we were going to see against us on Sunday, he could have been selected. He was and then there are people that will campaign for Kyle Tomori every time, for what he's been doing over at AC Milan. Well, you can make the argument. You can make the argument when you have the likes of Maguire getting selected. You can make the argument for you even get selected. You could potentially go there and Maguire getting selected because it's hard to play in any games.
Just give me the spot,
make whatever argument that you have. Exactly, you sign up to your tool. Exactly, your tool, and you can jump. Maybe you're not built as Harry Maguire, but if Harry Maguire gets selected, then every other fan base has the right to be frustrated. But I want to focus on Eze, and my thoughts on the Eze situation is. He deserves it based on his recent form. Eze does deserve it. And I think this is massive for Eze's future at Palace as well, because if Eze can get selected regularly for England whilst performing like this for Palace, I think it gives him the idea that, he has a future at Palace. Because before, it used to be the case of you have to play for a big club to be selected for England. Now, if we have the likes of Eze that is scoring goals, enjoying his football, and has come out publicly and said that when reports have suggested that Liverpool are interested in him, and he basically rubbished it. Enjoying his football, he's local to the area, playing for England.
Yep.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to stay at Palace if you're Eze? Maybe if you want to win trophies, I understand that. But for the short to medium, long-term future, I think this is a massive message to the rest of the players in the Palace squad and players that we're trying to attract as well. That if you join Palace, it doesn't mean that you can't progress your football career. It doesn't mean that you can't represent your country on international level. Because as long as you perform, just like the other players, just like Eze, just like Sam Johnson, he's even a very good example. Him getting selected is the biggest shock for me because he could have easily been avoided. He hasn't played throughout the season. He's played a short span of games. If you look at the season as a whole, he has performed relatively decent, but he's back in the England lineup. You see Mark Gay, who's been selected for a while. So I think this sends a massive message to the rest of the players in this Palace squad, or players that we are trying to attract, that if you're a young player and you want to play at the highest level, you want to grow yourself, Crystal Palace is the place to be. And we are showing it with results in the short term.
Three things here. First of all, it is a proven fact with us that our young guys can get into the England squad. We have multiple examples of it, starting with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Conor Gallagher, Eze,
Conor Gallagher, he got selected because
Johnston, Gahey. So if anything, the sell is, hey, young guy, come play here, get minutes in the first team. You can represent your country. You know what I mean? That's a huge allure for a young guy. You know, I think it's not so much the whole winning trophies thing as much early on for the younger guys as it is from when you're getting later on in your career. Second thing, we have our second winner of the night. Yes. So
under 18s, it should be.
Yes, the Palace under 18 player of the season goes to Zach Marsh. Zach Marsh finished the season with 11 goals and 12 assists in 2022-23, while also earning some bench appearances for the U21s. So they actually moved on to the U21 player of the season rather quickly.
Okay, who's this going to be? Because there's been a few players. Do they count? You can't count loan players, can you?
No, I don't think so. So
but based on that, it's not going to be a loan player.
But the winner was David Ozo.
Okay, yes, it has to be. It has to be David. When you look at it, congrats to David. Congrats
to both of those guys.
Congrats to both of them. Exactly. Congrats to both of them. Yeah, David. I saw Ozo yesterday. I was at the game, under 21s, and he's very big, man. Like I've seen him before for Palace as well when Vieira gave him his debut, but he is physically built. Like he's physically built for the Premier League, despite being young. And he's had a great season. If you look at him in terms of for a youth player, he's been involved with the first team here and there. He's done well for the academy level, so he's literally on the brink. He's on the brink, and he's on a good pathway right now to push into that first team football. But congratulations to both of them, and hopefully we get to see them in first team football in the near future. And not only them, there's also other players that could have easily won the awards as well, especially under 21s that I know about. There's been very good under 21s this year. I mean, Raksaki, if he was at the under 21s, he probably would be there as well. He's had a fantastic season at Charlton. Scott Banks had a very good season as well. Scored yesterday.
O'Brien got promoted.
Yeah, I know from Bradford, people from Bradford, because Scott Banks played with someone that I know who also plays for Bradford, and he said, he's a great player. He's a great player. So that's someone who trains with Scott Banks literally every single day for the past season. So Scott Banks getting high praises as well. O'Brien, Killian Phillips is coming through. You're seeing lots of these. So well done to David Ozo, but I'm expecting, the competition to be up there because as we're saying, that's a good thing. We can mention other names that could potentially win this award. And that shows that, we're doing well with the academy and we've got to a cup final. The under 15s, for example, won a trophy as well. So, both sides, fantastic. No problem with the academy, but congratulations to everyone. I think all the academy players deserve, round of applause for what they've done.
Absolutely.
They've all been fantastic for us. But yeah, if you have any questions, by the way, send them and we'll read them out towards the end of the show. Let's go through the last bit of news today, which is on Mateusz Franca. So T is not ending. We've been talking about it for a while. It's been like a month or two. We've heard that scouts have been there, watching him and how he's doing for Flamengo over in South America. But the latest report, according to sources, I believe, from Brazil, is that Crystal Palace and Newcastle United will have to cough up 20 million euros, euros to secure the services of Flamengo wonder kid Mateusz Franca. So 20 million. Of course, he had a release clause of what, 160 million or something
crazy
like
that.
that.
160, yeah.
Yeah. So 20 million euros. Look, that the money side of things, you can make the argument, depends on how much budget we have, isn't as major of a concern. But when you add Newcastle there and the power that they have, the pool that they have with Champions League football, forget about the money. I think it's hard to compete with Newcastle nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, Champions League football, along with deep pockets. You know, that's a tough that's a very tough opponent to be going up against for the likes of a player. I mean, I guess the main thing that might be there for him is what his development might look like there, and how long it may take him to come through the ranks there. Because like we're talking about with Franca, he's not playing for his national team. He's not playing a lot.
He's not playing a lot for his club.
So in coming over to England, he's going to have to be loaned out somewhere in order to hopefully get his paperwork together, his permit together. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to come straight into to England and play. So, you know, maybe that's where we have an advantage, because now we have a partner in Molenbeek who is going to be first division in Belgium. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, but 20 million euros, that's a figure.
It's got to work out. It's got to work out. You got to be sure.
It's not cheap as well for a player that hasn't really played as often. He has
you
had
got to
some
be sure on that.
Don't get me wrong, but if you guys go look him up, he does at times just come off the bench. He's not a 100% starter. He's still very young. Don't get me wrong, but there's that question about why doesn't he start that many games, and I wonder why that is. There's that reason, because I don't know. I don't watch Brazilian football as often. But even though saying that, I was watching it like 2 weeks ago, and I was watching Victor Roik. I don't know if you've heard of him. Yeah, he's been linked to and he basically had like 5 touches all game. So it was brilliant.
It really feels like they're just going off potential with some of those guys, not necessarily off of the work that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like when Man City goes out and gets the KK kid, and you know he's only played under 21s. He hasn't even played for the big club yet. You got guys like Endrick for Palmeiras, who goes for a crazy amount to Real Madrid, and he's 16 and has hardly played first team ball for Palmeiras. You know what I'm saying? Like there it seems like when it comes to getting kids from Brazil, you're really going on their potential and not on their current output. So look, if trust me, there's a lot of potential with a lot of people in Brazil as well. So if you manage to get it right, then you might be worrying about 20 million euros now, but you might end up selling that player for like 50 or 60 million in a season or two if you start giving a game time. But T, what's the next award? I know we're not doing the next award we just had is actually just announced, was the Women's Player of the Season.
Okay, so who's won Women's Player of the Season?
Women's Player of the Season went to Fran Kitching.
Okay, congratulations to Fran.
That's the shot stopper, the keeper for us, who made 23 appearances in all competitions, keeping 7 clean sheets and producing a multitude of vital stops, and one which is actually nominated for Women's Championship Save of the Season earlier this week. So shout out to Fran.
Shout out. Yeah, Crystal Palace women this season, when you look at the season that they've had, they're 5th in the league as well. Fran, of course, played a massive part to that in terms of clean sheets. And we had a relatively solid season. When you look at some of the results as well, Drew won all Charlton recently. But we've had some high scoring games, a few clean sheets, as you mentioned, T, as well. So it's been a solid season for the women's team, and literally all we have to do is try build on from that. But there's a few players that that were nominated for goal of the weeks and stuff. I've seen it. So it's been an exciting season for the women's side of the game as well. So both the academy and women's awards seem like they are done. So soon we'll be moving on to first team. Let's see how that goes. Of course, we got the first team award in terms of goal of the season, which is Michael Elise. If you guys have missed it, he's won goal of the season for that free kick against Manchester United. Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate it. It's what he said, and he literally walked off the stage. Short and simple. Back to training tomorrow. But let's go through some of the questions, and then we'll keep you guys up to date as well. But that's it in terms of the news that we got today. The trio that's been called up to the England squad, as we said, both McArthur and Luca Milivojevic leaving the club. Actually, before saying that. I think that's going to be a question that that's why I didn't ask you, because someone asked that question already. And I'm going to answer this now. So talking about players that's leaving the club, there's a question from CD who says, is Tompkins staying or getting a 1-year deal? So let's answer this. There was a report from The Athletic that me and AJ jumped on, and we spoke about both. It suggested that Nathaniel Klein and Joe Ward could be staying at the club, which would indicate that we don't get another right back. And James Tompkins was also one of those players that's been mentioned about him potentially staying at the club. We've seen 2 players announced today. Tompkins wasn't one of them. Do you see him getting another 1-year deal, T?
I hope not. I hope not.
Why not?
I think we just need to let Tompkins go, man. I think we need to let him go. And being quite honest with you, man, I would rather have us either bring in another center back that can try and bed in and find a way into the first team, 3rd, 4th role, or we let a guy like O'Brien compete and step in and take that spot. I mean, he'll cost less per week than Tompkins will. We free up those wages. I mean, to what we pay him versus how much we play him is very similar to what we see with McArthur and Luca. You know,
you would assume it's going to be a wage cut, though. I don't think James Tompkins will be getting the same amount of money. And don't you think we need a bit more experience in the side as well? Don't you think keeping James Tompkins allows you to have that? Because when he has played for Palace, he hasn't been bad as well for the few games that he had to step up. But saying that, I think I'm happy with this as long as he is our last centre-back option. I don't want this to mean that Chris Richards doesn't play next season if one of Gahey or Anderson gets injured and he goes to James Tompkins. I just don't want that to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely don't want that to happen. I don't know. I mean, if he restructures and he comes in for less and he stays for less, then yeah, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? But if he's keeping the same wages as he had, and I'm not a fan of that option. Especially when, like I said, you got a man mountain like O'Brien, who I feel like could step in and actually have success too. But
what does that mean that a club right now are not sure about O'Brien? Because you don't keep Richards, Gahey.
I think they're still
leaving. There's lots of ways of looking at it. How many centre backs do we need at the club?
Facts, and I think they might be looking at possibly loaning him out again. Especially, like I said, if he goes back to Molenbeek, then he's competing in Belgium's first league. So he's getting first team football in a top league, which is great for his experience and his development. So I definitely wouldn't be against that in any way. And then you got some pretty good young guys that were in that U21 setup that are probably going to be looking to have to make some moves soon too, with Graham and Balmer too. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. So based on yesterday's game, Kofi Balmer, he looked a bit more solid on and off the ball yesterday than Graham.
Yeah.
But saying that, the communication at times, especially at the start of the game, wasn't great. Kind of switched off for a bit, especially with the first goal. First goal was avoidable, that PSV scored. But for the second goal, I don't know if I've seen the highlights for the yesterday game. Or
haven't had a chance to look at them yet. They're out. I haven't had a chance to look yet, though.
Okay. Yeah, for the second goal, it was genuinely pathetic. Like I don't know what happened. We just switched off. We just switched off for extra time. But for 90 minutes, we were arguably the better side against PSV, who play professionally, arguably in Holland's second division. So and also you have to remember Right Saki, Scott Banks, some of these players just weren't at the club. They weren't playing with these players throughout the season, and despite that, they still had
chemistry plays a role in that. That's why you had that question of was it okay? Was it a good idea to bench those players who have been going, who've been playing, that were really the reason why they had gotten to that point? You know what I mean? Because chemistry plays a role in that.
Yeah. Look, we've had a few comments. Looney said Ferguson and Tompkins to go alongside Luca and McArthur. Don't mind Gyro Ward staying for one more year. CDs adds to his question. Tompkins is injury prone now, would prefer O'Brien as a backup. And Gaika also says the only way Tompkins stays for me is if Gahey leaves and we need backup for Richards.
Oh no, that means Tompkins the third. No.
Yeah,
I would not want Tompkins as my third option. No.
Yeah. Well, apparently right now is reportedly on £50,000 a week. So I assume that will be cut down.
Yeah, but if I would only want him as maybe my fourth option at the highest. I would not want my two center backs to be one injury away from James Tompkins playing major minutes for us at the age of 35 in the Premier League.
We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that.
No way.
But literally, but the good thing is we got Richards as like a very good third option. You get it? So in terms of depth and centre back, if you keep Tompkins, you'd assume that Tompkins is just there to add up numbers. I don't think
but that scenario what Geico was talking about is we lose Gahey, so now we've got Anderson and Richards with Tompkins as your third. It's like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want at all.
Yeah. Let's move on to the second bill question. If you guys have any questions, send them through. Oh, my headphones are going. If you have any questions, send them through. And also, we'll be giving you as the 2 seconds live updates on the end of the season award show as it comes along.
Yeah, we're good right now. They're having a musical performance right now, so
performance. Yeah, exactly. There's a little musical performance break. But so far, we've seen the goal of the season, Michael Olise, under 18s player of the season, under 21s, women's player of the year as well. So 3 awards have already come back, but the main awards really are that player of the season, players player of the season. Have you watched that video about players player of the season?
Yep, that was hilarious.
When
Macca asked Joel how to spell Mark's name, that was hilarious.
Yeah, just spell Mark. Just write Mark. I'm pretty sure they'll get. There's no other Mark. Just write Mark.
Do you spell Mark with a C or a K, Joel? Just wondering.
And even with the gyro thing, where I think Chris Richards walked up to him. What did he say again? He said,
"I'll tell you who I'm not." He said,
"I'll tell you who I'm not voting for." Yeah.
Who? He was like,
"What do you mean by that?"
He's like, "What do you mean by that?"
Exactly. And then also you had the moment about Jordan Ayew telling Will Hughes how he's won this award before and how he was struggling with Watford and getting relegated with Watford.
That was kind of dirty. I felt bad for Hughes a little bit there. Like, oh.
Yeah. And there's lots of moments, but we'll find out. We'll find out. The banter was there. But who do you think is going to win it before the awards are announced anyways?
Who do I think is going to win? Players player?
Players player. You know what? I was leaning... Eze. I was leaning towards Gahey. I think they could give it to Gahey.
I think Eze is going to get players player and player of the season. That's my thought.
You reckon?
I think he's going to get both. That's just my thought.
Decore is getting robbed. You can't... Decore...
Oh, yeah. He's going to get robbed.
I think Decore or Gahey needs to win player of the season.
He's going to get robbed. I think Decore will get robbed because he plays an underappreciated position when it comes to these types of
but the players player of the season is when the players give that award to underappreciated players. But
sometimes they give it to the guys they just think they deserve it. It could be Gahey. I think it's either Gahey or I think it's either and you know what, it could be Olise too.
I was gonna say I won't be surprised if some of these players voted for Olise as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
At all.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll Looney says Jordan Ayew for player of the season. I wouldn't go that. I think Gahey and Decore have been better. But yeah, Jordan Ayew's not had a bad season, but I think them two have had a much better season. Even Eze, I think, has had a better season.
So the next award they're about to do is Moment of the Season.
Moment of the season.
Yeah, as voted on by fan token holders on socios.com. There have been plenty to choose from in a roller coaster campaign, but which will come out on top? So, Moment of the Season is the next
Moment of the season. Look, we're going to talk about our moments of the season when we do our end of season award show, talking about the season and recapping everything. But Moment of the season, what could that be? We haven't had that many moments. I'll tell you that this season. What could be a moment of the season? What pops up into your head when you say moment of the season? I'm thinking both Brighton games are not moments of the season, so none of that. No. We didn't have no FA Cup moments.
Well, I can tell you what just won. I can just tell you what just won.
Go ahead. Let us know.
Michael Olise versus West Ham. The 94th minute winner against West Ham was named.
That's a moment of the season.
Second award of the night for Michael Olise. I can't wait to hear what he says. I cannot wait. Thanks.
Because that was the game. That was the game. If you guys remember, that was the game when Olise had that famous interview.
Photos only. He only did photos.
Is it? Yeah.
He only did photos.
You already spoke for goal of the season. But remember, this was the game. This was the game that Olise came out afterwards and gave that he gave the answers and people, it went viral. Everyone in the football world was talking about Elise. But that was a game. It was against West Ham. And funny enough, from that game, he wins an award. But yeah, the moment of the season, I can't argue against it because there hasn't been that many moments. But it kind of says like our moment of the season is a 90-minute winner, which ain't bad.
94th minute a winner. Like that's
there hasn't been that many moments. But yeah. Give it to Elise. Elise got 2 now. 2 in the bank.
Yep.
He's having good. He's having the goods today.
2 in the bank.
Good. Yeah, let's go to the next set of questions. It comes from Geico. It says, do you think McArthur will get a run out on Sunday? I think he'll get a few minutes here. So before we say this, opposition preview, match preview, we should be coming out in the next few days. And T, I believe that you and AJ spoke about McArthur.
Yep, a little bit.
Match preview. Yeah. Yep. So without you giving any much spoilers about it, I think I should quickly say my stance on it because I wasn't on the preview. I think you can let me know what you said afterwards. I think he gets a run of minutes. I do think he does that because I can see Roy giving it to him. But saying that, I don't think there'll be a wholesale changes. I don't know if Luca, potentially, if it's only Luca and McArthur that's announced, potentially them two can start. But I could see us push for 11th as well. Like 11th should be our main focus. So you don't want to change it up too much. But I would like to see him get some run out, even if he's not starting the game, maybe 15 minutes towards the end. Depending on how it goes. He needs to. Maybe him and Luca, but Maka more than anyone because of how long he's been at the club and how great he's been for us. Not that Luca hasn't, but both of them should. But for you, do you reckon Roy changes about?
I don't think he's going to change it up. I don't think, and this is something, giving a little bit of a sneak peek. AJ alluded to. Roy doesn't change stuff up a lot. I don't expect him to either. Now, I do think they have a chance of getting out there and playing a little bit towards the end or at some point during the match. So my hope is that they'll get a chance, in particular McArthur.
Yeah. So let's see what happens with that. But yeah, I think they should. Let us know what you guys think as well in the comment section. Do you reckon Luca and McArthur could potentially get opportunities? Off the bench at least. I'll be surprised if they don't come off the bench. But let's move on to some of the questions and thoughts. So Elise's celebration against Man United. As moment of the season, says LG. Jude says moment of the season, Mateta's goal, goosebumps. We knew we were staying up, absolute limbs as well. Yeah, that was fantastic. Against Leicester. See, I remember that. As soon as he said Mateta's goal, not that he scored a lot of goals, but I remember that. Yeah, which one? but yeah, you know that goal. Yeah, he was funny enough to you. I think who was it? Someone asked a question where me and AJ was on, and he said about. There's a question about Mateta versus Edouard. Or actually, it was Mateta. Who would rather have, Mateta or Connor Wickham? That was a question. Funny question. And I said Mateta because if you realize Mateta scored some big goals for us. He might not score a lot.
And Mateta because he's actually available to play for you.
Yeah. But I did ask, like, are we moving away the injuries? Because if we're moving away the injuries, then it gets a bit more, debatable. But if you don't, then it has to be Mateta anyway. But Mateta, yeah, he scored some big goals. And this season, once again, and that goal against Leicester was massive. If we draw that game, you never know what happens going into the next game, the next game. So yeah, it was a massive goal.
Facts.
Let's move on to the next question. Benjamin says, do you think Zaha will leave? And do you think that is why we have made a mural for him? So I reckon I'm more inclined to Wilf staying than leaving.
I feel like they can go both ways. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they can go both ways.
And the mural stance is weird because when it first happened, when we was on Palace News about it, I wasn't too sure. Like, I don't know if we should read too much into it. I don't know if it's anything to do with contract. Of course, today he's not even at the award show, which some people were annoyed about. He's in Dubai, which, I mean, where would you rather be, Clapham or Dubai? I think I'll pick my option. And he's not going to win any awards as well, so I already know. But and it's been a long season for him as well. Why not have a break and enjoy your money? But yeah, so where do you stand with the C? Do you reckon Wilf is staying? And if he's staying, do you think we're announcing it by having a mural in someone else's house? Do you think that's it?
To be 100% honest with you, man, I think the mural made it even more confusing for me because it really can go both ways. You know what I'm saying? The mural could be timing. The mural could be the tribute and goodbye, or the mural could be the celebration of the solidifying of the legacy of him staying at Palace. Mm-hmm. So I think seeing it go up, my natural inclination was like, this could really mean either thing. Now, I was on Twitter and I was just scrolling. I found something really interesting. And if you go back and you look at those pictures of the actual mural. Apparently, in the main picture of Zaha, where he's showing all the intensity and stuff, the kit that he has on is not any older kit that we've ever had, and it's not.
I saw that as well, but apparently that's false. That's false, apparently. Sorry to disappoint your party, your moment, but apparently it's false. If you go
how? Because in looking at it, that wasn't like they were trying to say it was the one from last season, or the one from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Because honestly, because from that picture, so everyone can see what we're talking about. Yeah, because on that picture, the real picture, he's wearing our yellow away kit, but they changed it to a red and blue home style kit, but it doesn't match any of our home kits from the last 4 years.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Yeah, someone said that, but let me go through the thread. I know what you're talking about. About it, but yeah, it's that goal is West Ham, I believe.
That's West Ham. So, West Ham away. Yes.
Yeah, but he wore. Yeah, you're right. So he wore the yellow kit for that game. He didn't wear the red and blue stripes. Exactly. But yeah, I just think
I don't know, man.
Red and blue stripes, bro. You're gonna put yellow, are you? Well, you're not gonna put yellow. Bro. You're not gonna put the yellow kit on him. I think it's just red and blue stripes. I don't think it's. Like, you just won't put yellow when you put a Zaha mural. That doesn't make any sense. Our yellow kit was our yellow kit for that season. We're not yellow. That's not our main colors. Our main colors are red and blue. If you make the biggest picture about Zaha and you paint the kit yellow, then I think it'd be like.
I'm looking at the video they had just to see.
So yeah, I don't think that plays a part to it. But look, we'll find out.
Yeah,
end of this. Well, we're gonna find out soon. So there's still a bit of time. Actually, not that long, to be fair. Jeez, just 1 week. Are we in the final week of Zaha being official Crystal Palace player?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look at the calendar. We haven't got that much time till he's run. So yeah, 1 more week after this. So next week, Thursday, I believe his contract is out.
I thought it was. It's not until June. I thought it was June 30th.
Okay, 30th. So yeah, we got 1 month plus next week.
somebody told me that loan players' contracts end like
June
right at the last game. June 1st, because they don't want to pay them for a month that they're not doing anything for them.
So. Yeah, we'll find out. Look, there's a month anyways, and we'll find out. We'll find out within that time. Hopefully, soon. But Lewis, there's no live streams or the award show, but we're giving you live updates as it comes along. That's what I'm talking about, Palace. If you're enjoying the content, if you can smash the like button and subscribe if you're new here, that would be massively appreciated. Let's keep the channel growing, people. Mukhtar says, "Is Ferguson going?"
Gotta be.
He wasn't announced. Well, you say gotta be, but with Palace, we've seen in the past with Conor Wickham, we kept him when he was having all them injuries.
But it's like, why would we make that mistake again?
Well, it depends on how you view it, bro. It could be seen as a mistake financially. I 100% understand it, but when the club has a personal relationship with some of these players, it might be a bit harsh just to throw the player out there.
At what point is it business, though?
Well, it depends on how much a player's worth. So, Nathan Ferguson, to us,
honestly, what is Nathan Ferguson worth? In terms of wages, I like Nathan Ferguson, and I wanted him to work out for us. But right now, with everything, he's been with us since 2020. What is it? And when he came to us, we only ended up having to pay, I think, $900,000 for him. We had to pay the tribunal because it was a young player. So what is his true worth for us then at this point?
Well, according to Football Reference, he seemed like he's on £25,000 a week. And I assume that won't be the case if he was to stay on. And I don't think anyone will offer that much for Nathan Ferguson because he's had injuries. So I honestly think the contract will be nothing like it is right now. And we'll just keep him on. Like,
you definitely
I'm not saying let me rephrase that. I don't think we will 100% keep him on. That's not what I'm saying. But it also wouldn't surprise me because we've seen it with Conor Wickham in the past when he had injuries. And many people didn't realize this till after. But Conor Wickham had personal issues going on at the same time as well as his injuries. And Palace decided to keep him, So I don't think Palace is that traditional club where if you don't make any sense for us in terms of on the field, we're going to 100% get rid of you because, we've seen it in the past. That hasn't been the case. So it wouldn't surprise me. And if he does stay, let's say for like £10,000 a week, what's free is £10,000 a week, bro. Like, it's not going to be anything much, is it? And T's frozen. That's great. Next season's kit.
Wouldn't expect us to pay much.
Oh, you're back. Yeah. No, you literally frozen. Yeah, you're literally frozen, but now you're back.
I would say I wouldn't expect it to be much. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be much, to be honest.
Isaac says next season's kit is a half blue and half red split down the middle. We will use it against Forest. Apparently. I wonder if it'll be announced today.
Isaac,
I'm not too sure. We'll see. Well, Isaac, bro, instead of looking at the screen like that, you need to check. Yeah. How do you know that?
Isaac, how do you know that?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Isaac is in the know, bro. We just don't know. What's it called? Is there any other updates, by the way, T?
So right now they had
been a while since the last one.
Yeah, they had an interview with Roy Hodgson where he talked about Gahey joining England and being a no-brainer. And then he chatted about Milivojevic and McArthur, saying, wherever those two guys are mentioned, I have a big smile on my face. They're what professional footballers should be. When you're asked as a coach what you want in those positions, you give the names Luca Milivojevic and James McArthur. The clubs that are lucky enough to get James McArthur and Luca Milivojevic to sign for them are very lucky indeed.
Yeah. So just Roy giving an update on the England call-ups. As we said as well at the start of the show, if you missed it, make sure to scroll back where we talk about the England trio and also players leaving as well. If you're just joining us live, we're giving you live updates from the award show as we speak, as it comes along. There's a question from Looney here saying, what's that midfielder we've been heavily linked with? 6'2" something. I read recently.
Skelly Alvaro from Social.
I remember talking about him. He was like 6'7", no? Something crazy.
6'8".
Yeah, 6'8" midfielder. I remember. I never forget that. How can we forget that? We haven't really spoken about him other than that. I don't know where Looney's seen this, but I haven't seen anything.
No, they. So I saw it earlier. Like, this is months ago where it came up, but recently it resurfaced that we're interested in him, and he's only going to cost like $3 million or £3 million. Yeah, I just saw a recent thing about it.
Yeah, months ago we spoke about him. I remember that, but I haven't seen anything recently. So what? I mean, 6'8", maybe. I think it's the wrong sport. I mean, if he's guarding LeBron,
the thing about it, man. The thing about it though is, you think he's at 6'8", he'd be slow, uncoordinated. Dude is kind of smooth. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I watched him a little bit. He can move. He's smooth through it. He reminds me of Philip Billing a little bit. He's not.
I just can't get over the fact that, like, I'm sorry, T, but sorry to cut you off. I just can't get over the fact of a 6'8" midfielder. Like, do you know how crazy that is? That is
when you watch when you watch him out there, it's like, oh, he's towering over people, but he's moving, he's smooth. His slide tackles, nobody expects him to be able to do what he does. His slide tackle, he gets the ball off people, and they don't think they have a chance. Like, he has a chance of getting to him, but he's so long that he can just knock the ball.
It's like Peter Crouch in midfield. I don't know if that's broken. I don't know if that's like, Peter Crouch is 6'7", so he's a bit taller than Peter Crouch. I mean, every corner that's gonna be broken.
And he moves way smoother than he made, because it's like what I thought about it while watching. It's kind of like KD. Like, you wouldn't expect somebody like KD to move the way he does, to dribble the ball. Yes, because you see how fluid Wemby is, and it's like, how are you this tall but you can dribble like this, hit step backs and all that? He's actually really smooth like that. Like, I'm interested to see what happens with that dude.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen anything. But if something does come up, we'll 100% talk about it again. So clearly, you both have seen something. But yeah, I remember talking about him though. I remember talking about him not too long ago. But yeah, literally every corner that we have to be scoring.
Isaac is in here dropping bombs. Wait a minute, D. Isaac says here it's last season's third kit, but red and blue. And he also says his cousin worked for Palace Media. So, Isaac, you got the plug, huh, man? See, you should have been in here telling us stuff like this a long time ago. Then we gonna
exactly. Yeah, you should have told us on Vieira's getting sacked. We should have found out like from you.
Right. We'll see about it. We'll see about it. But if it's true, I'm gonna give you your props, Isaac. I'm gonna give you your props.
Yeah, man. You're putting yourself out there. So it should be interesting. Noam Palace will sign that 6'10" midfielder and still not score from corners or not put balls into the box. Yeah, we'll try. Yeah, I mean, that was the case. It was well, of course, I don't know about stats, but there was that myth about whenever we had Benteke on the pitch, we wouldn't put cross into the box. Every time he came off the pitch, we
put cross into the box.
Cross into the box. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird times. It's weird being a Palace fan at times. I swear, we just do things weirdly. All right, let's move on to the next set of questions. I think that you marked this.
Team. Yeah, who makes the first team from the academy? Very good question.
Oh, that's a very good question. I think Adam Marola is close. He looked very dangerous yesterday in the final. Not just the final. I think he's slowly and quietly just been doing well for the academy level, playing some games. Of course, he had that spell at the start of the season where for Coventry, it just didn't work out. He got sent back to Palace as soon as he went. He just got sent back. So it didn't work out there. But I think Adam Marola makes sense with the left-back situation that we have with just Mitchell. You expect a bit more competition there. But for UT, there's a few other names that could be mentioned as well. Depending on how you view it, Rob Street maybe or Scott Banks.
I like that shout with Adam Marola. I like the shout with Adam Marola because it means that we spend less money. We don't have to put out the money for a backup left back. So there's a lot of sense that comes from that. And I think there was something to it, the fact that we didn't reloan him back out after he came back from Coventry. He could have went back out second half of the season and he didn't. But I think part of that too all of this boils down to who the next manager is or if Roy stays. But my vote is David Ozo.
Yeah.
I think
bro, I'll be honest, it depends on the manager.
Yeah, I think ultimately with all of this.
Realistically, maybe hopefully I'm proven wrong, but if Roy stays on, I just don't see Ozo getting as many opportunities. I just don't. Because it's not a diss towards Roy, but he prefers the more experienced players. Like true. That's what he prefers.
Very true. And like I said, all of this ultimately depends on who the new manager is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. And he works. So if the new manager, if we get another manager other than Roy, then potentially maybe some of these are can. But it feels with Roy, I think Adam Roy is the most realistic option.
That might be like you said, him adding him to the bench because of the necessity for backup on the left hand side, and Tyrant goes down, Adam Marola makes his debut and plays. You know what I'm saying? That's the Roy scenario of bleeding the youth guys.
And we've seen it with, we've got two midfielders leaving. We just spoke about it at the start of this show. James McArthur and Luca Milivojevic. So right. You'd assume Ozo should be one of those potential replacements along with Ahamada. So maybe we have it sorted there by these players who leave and we already got the replacements there. So that's if Roy rates Ozo. I don't know.
Exactly.
If he does or if he doesn't, because I haven't heard him speak about Ozo. So
all right, Isaac, you all right, man? You putting it out there. You putting it out there, bro. You got a lot to back up.
Well, he ain't wrong technically. There's a goalkeeper kit and 3 kits, so you can't be wrong.
Well, technically, in that case, we got 5 because we got 2 goalkeeper kits. So in that case, it's 5.
Isaac went out there. We'll see. With Isaac in the know. What do we need 4 kits for? I mean, if we play European football, then maybe something. But
we gotta have Carabao Cup uniform, jersey. We gotta have a FA Cup uniform. We gotta have the Premier League uniform. You know what I'm saying? We gotta mix it up. You know what I'm saying?
What's the third kit this year? Third kit last year was that Blackburn kit. I remember I have it now. I bought it.
Yeah.
What's the third kit this year? I can't remember.
That's the black kit. The black kit's the third kit.
Oh, black kit. Yeah, we rarely use that. Yep. When did we use the black kit?
We've used the black kit now only like I think 3 matches, 3 or 4, because we had only done it once prior, but I think we've done it like 3 or 4 times now.
Interesting.
We only used it once in the first half of the season.
Yeah, let's see if anything gets announced by kits, and maybe it does. Maybe it does today. Maybe we have to wait a bit longer. T, is there any other updates from the award show? Are they still singing?
They're still on a short interval, and they said a short interval. We'll be back shortly for more awards, including the Big One Player of the Season. So that was 10 minutes ago. That was the last update on the website. So I guess they're still in their intermission.
The third kit was white with red and blue down the middle.
No, the white is the away. The white is the for this season. The white.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, that's the way.
Now he's talking about the historical kit from last year. That historical kit from last year. I've got it. Yeah. So I think Isaac was trying to say the kit for next year is that one with blue and red rather than the blue and white. That's what he was trying to say.
You know what? I can actually get that kit up because I can't. What is that? I got it in my wardrobe, but I could try to find it here. That's interesting. I don't remember patterns like that for it to be anything special. That'll be normal red and blue, no? Crystal Palace first kit. That was the 1861 kit, I think.
Yeah, that's 1861. Yep.
Yeah,
correct.
Interesting. We'll see. Kit news coming soon. We've got you covered as well.
Hopefully so. Hopefully during this award show, that'd be real nice.
Yeah, exactly. And then Isaac might be genius. So it'd be red and blue like this. We've had kits before in a similar wavelength. Let me just show it to the screen. Potentially, we're talking about kits. I don't know how we got to kits, but here we are talking about kits. Can you see the screen?
Yep. No, I can. Yep.
Yeah, so it should be that. Yeah, it should be that. So red and blue. We've had that before, so it wouldn't really.
Yeah, we had one of the Man Bet uniforms was kind of like that. One of the ones that had the Man Bet sponsorship was.
There's only so much you can do with red and blue. Like, you don't want it to be crazy as well. There's only so much you can do with the home kit. The away kit now, you can honestly you can play about that.
If we did this with red and blue with the right like hits of white in it, that'd be pretty clean. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I like this kit. I know some people didn't, but I actually like this kit. The Blackburn kit. I was a fan of it. Is there any other questions? I can't see any. I can't see any further. So with the academy, it's Ozil for you.
Ozil Phillips, but I think Ozil more because I think Ozil is more suitable to the Premier League game right now with his size, and then also from what I hear, and I don't know if you saw this from Phillips, is that he lacks a little bit of creativity to be ready for the Premier League right now.
He's tall. Yeah. He's physical, but as like a number 10, I'll be honest, I see him more as a number 8 than number 10.
And that's really what we need right now. We need an 8. We need more of an 8 because we got Eze can be that 8 to 10, that 10 guy if we need him to be. So I would want us to get more of a box to box guy. I feel like Ozil fits into that. I don't know, what Killian Phillips could develop into, but I don't know. I mean,
we've got breaking news. I don't know when this was, but I can try to find out. But we got academy player. Talking about academy, we've got one academy player that's announcing that he's leaving. And I'm just gonna go look into it before I confirm it. But yeah, it seemed like one academy player has confirmed that he is leaving the club, and he was actually involved in yesterday's game as well, which is going to be very interesting. I'll give you guys an update on that in just a second. Yeah, just about 16 minutes ago, it's been announced that David Omalabu is leaving the clubs after 12 years. I'm going to actually show what he said, but you can't make this up. We talk about academy, and one academy player announced that he's leaving. So I'm going to bring this up in just a second. But see, reaction to that on Malabu.
I see it. I get it. I get it. If y'all remember, Omalabu had that really, really big season in the under 18s where he had like 20-something goals. And then he made the step up to the U21s, and he just kind of got washed out, man. They started playing him on the wing rather than playing him through center forward. And I remember him saying that he preferred to play center forward, but he's small, man. He's on like 5'7", 5'8". He's small. And I feel like when he got up to the higher levels, he kind of just got washed out, man. I mean, it seemed like he went third in the pecking order in the striker, even fourth if you throw in Rob Street, because Rob Street was in there. Then you had Akinwale and Ola Adambomi. So he was down the pecking order as far as, center forward and things. So it kind of makes sense, man. I think it.
Yeah. So this is an announcement. Can you see on the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so he announced this literally 17 minutes ago, as you can see from the bottom, as we've been live. He announced that David Omalabu has announced that he's leaving the club. So he said the following: 12 years at CPFC has come to an end. I would like to thank all the staff and the players for helping me and guiding me into the player I am today. I'd also like to thank you for all the love and support I've received over the years. Unfortunately, I couldn't leave on a high note by winning the cup with the boys yesterday, but sometimes some things aren't just meant to be. I wish everyone at the club all the best for the future. You can see comments from Jaden Raymond, Carlo, Killian Phillips, and Scott Banks as well. There's been a few academy players. That's Luke Blanche, Kofi, Walmer. So that's sad, man. That's sad. But But you know what, people? This is the reality, though, and it's not going to be. He's not going to be the first. It's not going to be first. It's not going to be the last. Some of these players that are doing well on academy level. Yeah. Some of these players at the academy level are just, some of them just are not going to make it. That's the reality. Academy football compared to first team football, it's not the same ballgame. Different level of competitiveness, different fixture lists, and David Omalabi is one of those who's leaving. And unfortunately, there might be some highly rated academy players that we see come through from maybe under 15s all the way to under 21s. They're playing well for academy. Then the club decide it might not work. And we have to move on. This is a reality, though. We can't expect, for example, even with the squad yesterday, I said I was at the game. Make sure to check out the reaction. Me and AJ done at the ground. Look, Scott Banks played brilliantly. Adam Roller played great. Killian Phillips had a good end to the game. Rodney played well at right back. To a certain extent, he had his moments in the game. David Oza was solid as well. So it's Rob Street. His hold-up play was good. But in reality, if you want me to be brutally honest with you, there's only going to be a few, or maybe not even that many that's going to make it to the first team. Some of these players that we mentioned, some of these players that we rate highly, they might have careers elsewhere, but it just might not be at Palace. Like Rob Street, that could be a struggle. It's going to be hard finding despite us struggling with strikers, it might be hard finding a spot for him at the Palace side due to how his game is. So that's the reality. And Omalabi has announced that he's leaving the club. 18 minutes ago, wish him all the best from everyone at Back of the Nest. 12 years at the club is a long time, and it's unfortunate that he didn't win the cup, but it's gonna happen. When you have good academy players, are just gonna have to step up to the plate, and literally, some players just will be able to make it to first team football. But in terms of the latest update, T's going to be back in just a second. Latest update in terms of the end of the year awards. If you guys have already missed it, goal of the season, Elise against Manchester United. We had also for first team awards, Elise won another award, which was moment of the season, which was against West Ham, the 90-minute goal. So Elise is one. In terms of first team awards, Elise, he's doing well. He's picked up, 2 awards so far. So he's been racking up awards. But of course, the Players Player of the Season and the Player of the Season awards is coming soon. But you guys have to know what you guys think as well. Who do you think is going to win Players Player of the Season and Player of the Season awards? In the comment section below. But yeah, T, as I was saying to the chat, some of these players that even played yesterday that we rate highly, they might not play for Palace, and don't be surprised about it. That's a reality. You just have to move on. Maybe they find a football championship.
It's one of those things, man. Like, he's probably getting older. They probably didn't see a path for him to the first team, which is completely understandable. If he doesn't have if they can't see a path to the first team for him, maybe he needs to go somewhere where he can get that opportunity, man. So it's unfortunate. I really liked Omalabi, but hopefully he goes somewhere and finds a good opportunity.
What's the latest with this award show? Are they still having like the dinner? It's been like this for like last 45 minutes.
Last thing they showed was some photos of David Ozo with his award, and Michael Lise with his award. Yep,
Lise was interesting. So, I mean,
it sounds like they're taking their time. They're taking their time with it. So
yeah, I don't know what they're doing. There's literally like 3-4 awards, but they're trying to milk it out literally to the end. I guess they hired the venue, so why not? Only just found out what Mark Gay's full name is. Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce that because I don't want to get cancelled.
He's cancelled.
Aji
Kienkin Mark Israel Gay.
Yeah, I said it fine, I think. Aji Kienkin Mark Israel Gay. Yeah, he's got a long name. There's some other people with very long names that we don't know about. Who was it?
There's a few guys that probably have super long names.
Yeah. Like even musicians as well that have super long names that we like. Future, Future, and the rapper. What's his name? His name is his name is funny. I remember it. It's Navadis Demon Cash. I mean, it sounds like
Navadis Demon Cash.
Yeah, Navadis Demon Cash. But it's called Future. So yeah, Navadis just sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. That's Yeah,
Facts.
Simon Cash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Milivojević,
Demon Cash. Who else is that? I don't know. Let's move on from first team names. Talking about Forest then, quickly, whilst we wait for these other awards. I know we're running out of time as well. I spoke to opposition preview, which will be posted. But it's more of a relaxed atmosphere, ain't it, T? Going into it, it's more of a goodbye. How I described it to the Forest fan, Mr. Dawn Tor, make sure to check it out when that gets posted. It's more of a goodbye show rather than a party atmosphere. I don't think we were partying in the last game because we stayed up a long time ago. The mood has already settled. But now that we announced players leaving, it's more saying goodbyes.
Do you party if you finish above Chelsea?
Yes, you would if Chelsea were having a good season. But if Chelsea are having a horrific season and they literally, what are they, 12th in the league?
Apparently, AJ will be partying from what I've been told.
I mean, AJ, yeah. I was with AJ yesterday at the game, man. He thinks everyone is just not physical enough. I'm convinced. He just thinks everyone is small, apart from Ozo. So yeah, AJ's funny. Yeah, I remember him saying that. It was an enjoyable game to go with AJ. But hopefully, next season, by the way. Whilst we're here, whilst there's some people here as well, we was going to ask this later on, but next season, we've got some ideas in our head that we're going to do, introduce new content. But if you guys have any new content ideas that you want to see on the channel for next season, send them through. I'll add it to the shortlist, but I already got some plans. And next season, hopefully, we'll be doing way more matchday content, game content, and just in general, just more pilot stuff. But if you have any ideas, any things that you want to see next season, some content ideas that you want to see on the channel, feel free to let us know in the comment section. T, are they still on holiday or have they come back from their lunch break?
It says off go the Crystal and on comes comedian and lifelong Palace fan Chloe Petts. So it looks like
I think they're coming back now. So we're gonna find out relatively soon.
So they got another comedian up right now. So
yeah, well, I think they're talking about Kevin Day, right? I don't think it's
it's Chloe. It's Chloe Petts now. Is the name?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Because she's hosting as well. I will be partying down there, win or not. literally, some people's lifestyle parties. I just want it to end. That's the most honest way of saying it. That's the most honest way. I can't wait for it to end this season. I just want it over with.
Just want it over with.
Yeah. Mitch says, I'm thinking back to that last week Bournemouth game that ended 5-3. Final week just throws up wild results. We can win by 3 or lose by 3, 100%. 100%. Do you expect a high scoring game? I said I do against Forest because I feel like the players are just going to have the freedom.
I'm thinking you'll see at least 4.
At least 4. From this or
just total.
Okay, I was like, damn.
You could. Who knows? You could.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it. We've had it, especially with Roy. We've had it in the past, like games with 4 goals, even 5 goals to a certain extent as well. So it has happened in the past. But yeah, quotes on Roy. Mark Gahey, that's a no-brainer. If you're England manager, this is a funny from Roy. I know you said it earlier on, but Roy said on Mark Gahey being called up to the England squad, he said that if you're England manager and don't pick Mark Gahey, then you shouldn't be England manager. That is massive praise from Roy.
And Roy's never gone that far. I don't think Roy's ever gone that far before.
If you're England manager, you don't pick Wilfred Zaha, then you should have been England manager as well. You can make that argument as well because Zaha was knocking on the door for ages, and I think Roy admitted as well. He was one that I think he got it wrong. Like he should have been selected to England, but still massive praise from Roy. Massive praise from Roy about it. But yeah, talking about Forest, we talked about McArthur, talked about goalkeeper situation as well. Are you, even with the Wolves show, are you surprised that Wilf isn't at the Wolves show? Do you have a problem with that personally? And also, do you think Wilf will be back for the Sunday game?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting that he's not there for the match. I mean, for the awards. I mean, I don't know what the logistics of what that might have been, how that might have looked. I know a lot of people probably going to have an issue with him not being there for the squad, and things like that, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn on it as to what it could mean too. He could be meeting with teams out there. Who knows? I don't know. So
when Dubai.
Yeah, I mean
potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the blue. You don't have to go to like Manchester United's training ground to meet personnel. Like you could easily have business meetings in Dubai.
Exactly.
There's a spot now as well, and lots of teams go there, lots of players go there, lots of agents go there as well. So it could all be happening behind the scenes as far as we know it.
Exactly.
But look, let's wrap this up. We'll find out the player of the season awards and player of the season as they come. But yeah, we'll talk about it in another Palace News episode. If you guys have enjoyed this stream, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, people. Let's get the subscriptions up as we end towards the final week of the season, as we're in the final week of the season, as we head towards the final game of the season. Thanks to everyone who's watched us live and also watched on replay. We really appreciate all your support throughout the season. We should potentially be back tomorrow if there's any other updates. Maybe another player leaving. Might confirm it. But if there isn't, then there's also the opposition preview or the match preview out tomorrow. So there's still more Palace content on the way. Thanks to everyone who tuned in live. Thanks to T as well. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.